GamingBolt presents 15 new sci-fi games of 2017. The sci-fi genre has given us some excellent games over the years, from the likes of Half-Life and StarCraft years ago to more recent titles like the Mass Effect trilogy and the resurgent Deus Ex games. Spanning across a variety of genres of games, every year provides gamers with some excellent science fiction titles, and it looks like 2017 is going to be no different. Be it epic space operas or dystopian post-apocalyptic worlds, it looks like there's a ton of sci-fi goodness coming our way in the next 12 months. Compiled in this list are 15 science fiction titles that we are most excited to play. Tell us what you think and which games you're excited about in the comment section below. Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn has got to be one of the most highly anticipated releases of the year, and everything Guerrilla Games and Sony shows us of the game only makes us that much more excited to play it. Not only does the game look absolutely incredible from the tons of footage we've seen, it also boasts of what is a truly unique setting, and if it finds the right balance between the expansive open-world gameplay and the intense action that the development team is so well known for, there's no doubt in our minds that it could turn out to be one of the best games of 2017. Halo Wars 2. Fans of the Halo series were thrilled when it was announced that 2009's Halo Wars would be getting a sequel, and that excitement has only increased as we get closer to the game's launch date. No, this isn't the mainline shooter experience that we've all come to expect from the series, but Halo Wars showed us almost a decade ago that the series can work very well as a real-time strategy game. Halo Wars 2 looks to be taking everything that made its predecessor such a fan favorite and improving upon every aspect, and frankly, it looks great. We simply cannot wait to get our hands on this one. Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect makes its return after a 5-year hiatus, and it's got gamers excited more than most, if not all, releases this year. Say what you will about how the series ended, but there's no denying the fact that the Mass Effect trilogy was 90 to 100 hours of excellent gameplay and storytelling, and Mass Effect Andromeda looks like it's going to be no different. It is looking like the perfect cross between Mass Effect 2 and 3's tight shooter combat and the RPG and exploration-based gameplay of the original. And if the game manages to meet the high standards of quality that the Edmonton team over at BioWare has set itself over the years, it'll without a doubt be one of the greatest games of the year. Detroit Become Human. Quantic Dream, the developers of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, are coming back with another title, and it's one that fans have been looking forward to for quite some time now. We all know, for the most part, what it's going to play like, at least for those of us who have played Quantic Dream's earlier games do. So it's not the gameplay itself that has us excited, rather the story the game will try to tell. Detroit Become Human has an interesting, unique setting and concept going for it, and if it can handle choice and consequence as well as was done in Heavy Rain, it could turn out to be one of the best PS4 games of this year. Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. Danganronpa, you weird, wonderfully over-the-top and unapologetically bizarre series you. The Danganronpa games are probably some of the best so-called visual novels out there, and the two mainline games in the series so far have provided us with some of the best puzzles, characters, and twists over the last few years. So much so that it's a real shame that more people don't play it or know about this gem of a series. Danganronpa 3 looks set to pick up the story where it was concluded in the previous game, and warning, it's gotten increasingly bizarre over the course of the two titles, and run with all of its crazy, dreamlike insanity. Star Wars Battlefront 2. The Battlefront series made a long-awaited return in 2015, much to the delight of Star Wars fans. And while many of us were disappointed in that it was a little lacking in content, there's absolutely no denying that it was an extremely enjoyable game. And now that DICE have gotten the excellent Battlefield 1 out of the way, their focus is now squarely on the release of Battlefront 2. While we know little of the game so far other than the fact that it's coming out later this year, we do know that it is going to include a single-player campaign as well, and that itself is enough to get us excited. If the game can transfer the thrilling combat that was so prevalent in the multiplayer into a proper Star Wars story, it'll be something truly special. Destiny 2. Destiny was the first title industry giants Bungie worked on since they handed over the reins of the Halo franchise to 343 Industries. And while the game was admittedly a flawed experience, it was ultimately an enjoyable one, and one that had a lot of potential. With Destiny 2, Bungie will be looking to maximize on the potential of the original and work on the flaws that plagued it. And if they can deliver the kind of experience we were all hoping the original would be, Destiny 2 could be a truly generation-defining title. Nier. When it was announced that the 2010 cult hit Nier would be receiving a sequel, and that it would be developed by Platinum Games no less, the news surprised quite a lot of people. But it was the most pleasant surprise one could hope for. While the original Nier, released back in 2010, was a vastly flawed experience, it was a game that was not afraid to try out new and unique ideas. And while their execution wasn't always perfect, the overall experience was one that, despite everything, was truly memorable. Nier looks to be capitalizing on the strengths of the original, and hopefully working on the flaws that kept it from greatness. And developers Platinum Games will surely inject with it thrilling, stylish combat. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. Telltale has gone from niche, little-known studio to one of the biggest names in the gaming industry in no time, handling properties such as The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Batman, and Borderlands with mostly great results. And their next step is a game based on the excellent Marvel film Guardians of the Galaxy. If Telltale can recreate the witty, hilarious writing of the series, and Tales from the Borderlands suggest that they absolutely can, and blend it with their staple choice and consequence gameplay, it'll be one hell of an experience. More than anything else though, we cannot wait for the I am Groot dialogue choices. Prey. We all know what a shame it was that we'll never get to see Prey 2, the sequel to 2006 shooter-cum-horror title, but we're also really glad that the franchise isn't flat out dead. Sure, we're not getting the sequel that we've been hearing about and looking forward to for so long, but with this new reimagining of the series, we get to witness the beginning of what could be hopefully a long-running series of excellent titles. And all evidence suggests that it could be. Arcane are excellent developers, as is evidenced by both excellent Dishonored titles. And if they can find the right blend of thrilling shooter action and atmospheric tension, this year's Prey could be one of the greatest shooters in recent memory. Star Citizen, Squadron 42. Star Citizen is a rather unusual and exciting blend of several genres, combining elements from combat simulators, shooters, and even strategy titles, making it a game with a truly unique concept. Set in a persistent, massively multiplayer space setting, the game is aiming to be the ultimate sandbox space simulation experience, with even a full-fledged single-player campaign thrown in for good measure. No matter what, it's clear that this game is not going to be light on content, and it definitely looks like it's providing gamers with dozens, if not hundreds, of hours of gameplay. It remains to be seen whether it'll be able to properly blend the several styles of gameplay, but it's a title that definitely has us all excited. However, the game is going to be ever evolving with various modules releasing at different times. This year we hope to see the chance to play Squadron 42, a story-based campaign set in Star Citizen's fictional universe described by the developers as a spiritual successor to Wing Commander. Injustice 2. Injustice was an instant hit among both fans of the DC Universe and fans of the fighting genre when it came out in 2013. So it's no surprise that its sequel, Injustice 2, is one of the most highly anticipated games of 2017. It looks like Injustice 2 will look to improve upon the solid foundation laid down by the original title, while making vital improvements such as the inclusion of new loot-dropping gear system, while also adding new characters such as Supergirl and Deadshot to what was already an exhaustive roster. Warhammer 40K, Dawn of War 3. The Dawn of War series is making a highly anticipated return after a 6-year hiatus, and fans could not be more excited. It looks like Dawn of War 3 will feature the same brand of immersive strategy gameplay that made the first two titles so good, while also including features that have fans of the series excited, such as a return of base building from the first game. While the future of the game looked cloudy at best for a long time after the shuttering of THQ, we now know for sure that the real-time strategy series will be making a comeback, and we simply cannot wait to get our hands on it. Xenonauts 2. The original Xenonauts was an excellent ode to the classic XCOM games of old, evoking a feeling of nostalgia in everything it did, from its tactical turn-based combat to its settings to even its visual style. And while that mostly worked in its favor, often it felt like a game that was maybe a bit too old school. Xenonauts 2 is going to be out this year, and it looks like it's going to fix all of those flaws. The game is shifting from a 2D perspective to a 3D one, while also making improvements to its gameplay design and artificial intelligence, making for what would hopefully be a much more organic and challenging experience. With the recent release of titles such as XCOM 2 and Fire Emblem Fates, the tactical turn-based strategy genre has seen a somewhat of a resurgence, so Xenonauts 2 definitely has us all excited. Tacoma. Gone Home is one of the most acclaimed indie games of all time, so the next title by Fulbright was always going to get our attention. And sure enough, people sat up and took notice of Tacoma when it was announced at the Game Awards in 2014. Multiple delays have dulled the excitement for this mysterious sci-fi game, but the prospect of a story told about people sundered in space from the developers of Gone Home remains too tempting to resist, and lands Tacoma on our list of the most anticipated science fiction games to look forward to this year. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.